right, we are live. Try to post this up right here. I got 14% of my thingies. All right, we are live, guys. Um, UFC Sphere. Was it a success? In my opinion, no, it was not. From the viewer's perspective, if you bought it at pay-per-view, if you bought it, if you bought the pay-per-view and watched it at home, it was. Don't get me wrong, it was different in a sense of compared to every other UFC event. But when you are, saying this is going to be the best event entertainment wise, I didn't see it. And the card was shit. I mean, don't get me wrong, the card was all right. Yeah, had some exciting moments. You had Cherez, Corez versus Vaughn. That was a good fight. Um, uh, Brian Ortega Lopez. I mean, there was some good fights in there. You know what I mean? But overall, if I had to give this card a 1 to 10 rating, I'm giving this card. I'll give this card a 6. A 6. A solid 6. And the event overall, with the fight card and the entertainment aspect of things, if I had to scale it 1 to 10, I'm gonna put it at a 6 as well. I just wasn't that impressed. I really wasn't. You know what I mean? Now let's talk the nitty gritty right now. Merab beats O'Malley. Not a lot of people wanted that. Not a lot of people saw that happening. A lot of people saw Sean O'Malley, catching him early like Conor McGregor did Jose Aldo. But this was not one of those fights. It just was not. Merab came in there with a game plan and stuck to that game plan through round 1 all the way to round 5. Nowhere in there did Sean O'Malley ever get an opportunity to really hurt Merab. And the scorecards, in my opinion, the scorecards were crazy, were nuts. Because a lot of people say Sean O'Malley won the 5th. Well, Sean O'Malley got taken down in the 5th as well and held down. And he got hit as well. Well, was it because of the oblique kick that kind of hurt Merab? And let's not talk about the referee. Okay, let's not talk about Herb Dean. I don't know what was wrong with that guy, but there was something wrong with him. I'll tell you that much. Merab stuck to his game plan and he beat Sean O'Malley. The UFC is devastated. When I say devastated, they are devastated. I'm gonna post something. I'm gonna post most likely a short on Dana White and how pissed he really was. You could tell at the press conference he was pissed. Even it's funny if you watch, if you haven't had a chance to watch, the event. Well, when Merab wins, Dana White. This is when they're about to basically Bruce Buffer is about to basically say, the winner, the new champion Merab. Well, when Bruce Buffer was doing his job, if you scan your eyes to the left of the screen, okay, if you're watching it, you're moving to the left. If you turn around, that's the right, but the left of the screen, you see Dana White in the background. Just he's moving ever so slow from the left side all the way to the back of Merab, and he didn't look happy. His body posture didn't look happy. His face didn't look happy. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. I work hard for this. Nah, I'm just playing. I just let it grow. But I appreciate it. Can you draw a cat dinosaur? Probably. I probably can draw a cat dinosaur. I know who can though. I know who can though. Um, but yeah, man, Dana White looked devastated putting that belt around Marab. But Marab got the job done. Marab got the job done, even with all the distractions. Marab got the job done. Now, let's go down to the ladies. Valentina got it done as well. For sure, man. For sure, yeah. Get busy. Get busy with that. You already know. Valentina got the job done and she did it with a wrestling clinic. She stuck to her game plan just as Marab did. And she took Grasso down at will. And when she took her down, there was a strategy there. All right. She stood in her guard. All right. Because what did she learn from the other fights? When she moves from guard to side control or to mount, that leaves room for Grasso to create space and get out of that void, right? Get up to her feet, and then get back to her boxing style. That's exactly what was happening with the other two fights that when Valentina fought her, she would create space, trying to gain an advantage in the position. This time around, she said, I'm gonna hold you down and I'm gonna hold you right here on the ground, and I'm not going to transition to side control or mount. I'm going to force you to be in this position, and I know for a fact getting to your feet is going to be much harder because I'm not trying to create any space. And Valentina did that. They both still new to me, TBH. They still have much to prove. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, Valentina stuck to that game plan and she beat Grasso. Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest, it wasn't the best. But, I mean, you got to get the job done. You got to get the job done some way, somehow. And Valentina got it done. All right? I mean, nobody complained about Khabib. You know, every time Khabib went in there, everybody knew what he was going to do. He was going to do a wrestling clinic, take you down, beat you up, ground and pound you, and look for a submission. And if the submission never comes, I'm gonna ground and pound you for the remainder of the fight. Nobody complained. So for Valentina to come in there and stick to her game plan just like Merab did. Look, Merab and Valentina are great champions. Merab and being a new champion, but Valentina, she's always been a great champion. She gets knockouts. You know, she gets submissions. And this time around, when you're fighting the best in the world, you got yourself a unanimous decision. No split decision, a unanimous decision. I agree with you, Luke. I agree with you 110%. All right? Wrestling wins championships. It really does. All right? And Merab and Valentina proved that. All right? They both proved that. But I know the UFC is thinking, what's next? Because they want Merab to have a quick turnaround. Quick turnaround, just like they did to Aljamain Sterling, where Aljamain Sterling fought Henry Cejudo on that 5-round war, and then right after, they made Aljamain Sterling do a quick turnaround against Sean O'Malley. So they're trying to have Merab do a quick turnaround, but Merab didn't take any punishment. He hardly took any punches to the head. I know he has no injuries. So, you know, if it's a quick turnaround, that's okay. All right, because he didn't go, it wasn't a 5-round barn burner. He wasn't getting, hit or beat up or cut up or any bloodshed. It wasn't one of those. So for the UFC to have a quick turnaround, I wouldn't mind that. I honestly wouldn't. I just thought it was very disrespectful to already start talking about the next challenger right after you win the belt. I thought that was total disrespect. I think you need to, you need to live in the moment a little. The UFC should have lived in the moment a little and gave Merab his moment because he had a 10-fight win streak. You know what that is, to win 10 fights in a row and then finally get a chance and a crack at the belt, knowing there's good and damn well there's other people who didn't do a 10-fight win streak and they got their opportunity and now they're champion. So I just thought it was a little disrespectful. Wayne, bro. Angry Johnny is the GOAT. Johnny is the GOAT. You mean John Bones Jones? Salute us. How you doing, man? How you doing, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well, man. Well, look, man. If you think John Jones is the best, I know someone who does, and that's Dana White. All right, Dana White definitely thinks uh, John Jones is the best. He's the best pound for pound, and forever he will be the best pound for pound. For me, I know who's the greatest pound for pound in my opinion. I just yeah, I keep that to myself. Look, Luke, what do I think about Bo Nickel? Look, he's very fresh. Bo Nickel is very fresh for you know. I think it's funny. A lot of UFC heads, they always try to pick up fighters. They always try to build up and market and promote fighters. And Bo Nickel is one of those fighters that the UFC is, you know, they're trying to promote as well. Um, but to hear, you know, DC and Joe Rogan and John Anik, all these reporters basically or commentators say that Bo Nickel could have, you know, he could fight for the championship belt if he wanted to. That's a lie. Look, Bo Nickel is a great wrestler. We just saw him get submitted in a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu competition against Gordon, one of the best Brazilian Jiu Jitsu artists out there right now. All right, Bo Nickel needs a little bit more experience. That's all. You know what I mean? I believe that his next fight, will give him, you know, that experience that he would need. But yeah, we need to see him go for a 3 round, you know, 3 round decision, or a 3 round bomb burner. We need to see that type of fight to actually prove to our eyes and our perception that Bo Nickel is actually an MMA fighter. Because being an MMA fighter and being a wrestler is two different things. Nah. Who do you think the only person to beat DC not on steroids is Stipe at the end of DC's career? At that, DC's the GOAT. Hey, I hear you. I hear you. Who do I think is the GOAT? All right, Wayne. I'll tell you who I think is the GOAT real fast. In my opinion, and if I had to choose who is the greatest of all time, all right, I'll have to say Prime Anderson Silva. I have to say Prime Anderson Silva just because I watched the guy, and yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to say Prime Anderson Silva. I knew it. Look, Prime Anderson Silva. It has to be Prime Anderson Silva. Okay, the guy was beating everybody. He cleaned out the whole division. And then when he got done with the middleweight division, the UFC told him, "Look, go up to light heavyweight and fight some light heavyweights." And he did that as well. And he looked disgusting. All right, so John Jones wasn't really doing that in his prime. He wasn't really, you know, doing that type of stuff. Knocking out people with front head kicks and you know, just he was a real Showtime. Design Go, Harris or Trump? Oh my God, politics. I'm not into politics. I'm really not. I'm just not into politics. But if I had to choose, I'm not choosing Harris. I'm just gonna put it that way. I'm not choosing her. She just looks like a slime ball, in my opinion. I was so sad when Silva failed his drug test. It was at the end of his career, though. In a cage match, it would be Trump. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. In a cage match, it would still be Trump. And look, Luke, as far as you know, the steroid accusation, I don't want to say it, you know that, but he was caught, he was suspended, and he did get, you know, it was after that leg injury and whatnot, but In my opinion, I'm just gonna be real with you. I think everybody in the U.S. or in sports, when you're at that high level, I think everybody is on steroids. It's just who's better at not getting caught. That's the name of the game. You know what I mean? I mean, look at cyclists. I mean, if cyclists are doing, you know, growth hormones, PEDs, steroids, if they're doing that just to win a bicycle race, what do you think a grown man would do if he was going to fight in a cage against another human being who could potentially kill the guy? I'm just speaking from my mind. I think you'll be doing steroids as well. So I think across the board, everybody's doing steroids. It's just who is the best at not getting caught. That's it. Um, that's what Nick said. You're right. I think Nate Diaz is nasty. Yeah, I think both of the Diazes are nasty. I think Nick Diaz is nasty. I think Nate Diaz is nasty. Both guys are phenomenal athletes. They brought attention and charisma to the sport. So for me, those guys were crucial in the aspect of building MMA and the UFC specifically. Natural, aka no steroids. Can't believe we missed out on 5 years of Nick's because of weed. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Unbelievable. Got suspended for 5 years because of a little plant called, marijuana. That's crazy to me. That's just that's nuts, man. That's nuts. But in my opinion, yeah, I think if I had to put a number on it, just a number, I'll say like 75% of fighters, and it might be even more, but I think 75% of fighters are taking steroids or did take steroids in a point of their career. Can't believe we missed. I know, Luke. They took his career right from underneath him, man. That I thought that was just insane, insanity. I don't agree with it. That's the reason why they voided it because it was ridiculous. You know, those people, fighters getting caught with PEDs, getting 6 months to a year, uh, suspension. So I think that's ridiculous. But yeah, if I had to say the greatest of all time, I would say it have to be Prime Anderson Silva, and then second after him would have to be uh, Demetrius Johnson, in my opinion. Um, and then yeah, and then potentially John Jones, you know. But uh, the UFC says the Sphere was an success. It was a success. From my eyes, from my perspective, I don't think it was a success. Okay, $20 million for what I saw. From what I saw, I don't even know how they got that number. Because from the viewer's perspective, I'm telling you, from the viewer's perspective, the people who bought the pay per view, okay, for $69.99, the people who bought it, they didn't get a spectacular show. It wasn't like an amazing show. Wow. No, in my opinion, it was not one of those. Okay. I heard they actually undersold compared to the other cards. I need to check again. I have no idea if they undersold. I wouldn't be surprised if they undersold. To be honest, Luke, I'm just being honest because that I'm telling you, I purchased the pay per view. Okay, and from my perspective, it was nothing to be at all about. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Like, it was cool to watch a story. Okay, it was cool from the same monotony that the UFC, puts on. Their show is always the same. This was totally different. It was totally different. I agree with that. But to say that it was going to be one of the greatest events, I'm sorry. I'm just baffled because the card itself didn't even represent one of the greatest events. Okay. Now, man, if they had like just like, I think they needed more creativity when it came to, the fighters coming out and things of that nature, because I just thought it was just so, a screen would come up and it'll stay there and then the fighters will come out, and I just I don't know about that. I just did, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all. And then the card itself, I wasn't feeling it at all either. It was a great night of fights. Don't get me wrong, but you can't tell me this card, it could have been done at the Apex or something like that, and they would have overachieved. You know, that's my opinion towards that. But guys, I'm gonna leave you with that one. I was gonna stay on here for a little longer, but I'm not gonna stay on here a little longer just because I'm on 5% on my telefono. But yeah, guys, it's we have more UFC to look forward to. We got finally Chandler coming out of his a coma, that Conor McGregor lulled him into. And he's finally coming out of his coma. And Chandler is going to fight Oliveira. Rematch. This is a tough fight for Chandler coming from a 2-year hiatus, to come fight a fighter like a fighter like Oliveira. That guy is he could be champion today. The guy is nasty. So I'm looking forward to that fight. We got John Jones versus Stipe. I'm not looking forward to that fight. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not looking forward to that fight. That fight, it doesn't prove anything to me. Stipe is well past his prime. I think he's going to be pushing 41, 42 or something like that when they finally fight. So I'm not even looking forward to that fight. But will I be watching that fight? Yes, I will be watching that fight. I'm glad Chandler brings it. I'm glad Chandler brings it though. As long as they make good fights, I don't care who wins. You're right. Hey, Luke, I agree with you. You are absolutely right. I agree with you 100%. As long as they make entertaining fights, I'm okay. I don't even care who wins. I'm with you. I'm with you. So yeah, I'm excited for the Chandler and Oliveira fight. There's other fights in there that I'm excited for too. We got Carlos versus Michael Venom Page. That's going to be another stand-up contest. It's going to be that Carlos versus MVP is going to be a great fight. That's one of the fights that a lot of people are not talking about. They need to start talking about that fight because I'm telling you right now, Carlos is going to be a champion one day. Remember that I'm saying this. Carlos will be champion one day, and he's going to set off into the sky if he's able to KO Michael Venom Page. If he's able to put away Michael Venom Page, that guy Carlos, he's gonna go to the moon and the stars. I'll tell you that much. Oh yeah, his ground game was definitely exposed. He virtually has no ground game. Okay, he has no ground game. The only thing Michael Venom Page got going on with a ground game is his hands on the ground trying to get back up to his feet. That's his association with that. I'll tell you that much. But this isn't going to be a grappling fight. Carlos versus MVP will be a striking fight. It will be entertaining, and your eyes need to be right on there. Because I'll tell you what, one blink and one guy is going to get knocked out. I repeat, one blink, one guy is going to get knocked out. I'm looking forward to that fight. I'll leave you with that. You already know. This is the OE. I'll get back on live maybe later on today. Not sure. But you already know. One love.